Weather alert. Historic winter pattern grips North America, December 10, 2025. Historic winter 25. Historic winter pattern grips North America, December 10, 2025. December 10, 2025. Breaking weather news. Good day, weather watchers. This is your comprehensive weather report for December 10, 2025. And we are tracking some of the most significant weather events to impact North America this winter season. A powerful combination of atmospheric forces is creating dangerous and disruptive conditions across the United States and Canada, affecting millions of residents from coast to coast. The polar vortex disruption. The single most important weather story affecting North America right now is the historic disruption and split of the polar vortex. This atmospheric phenomenon, occurring at the start of the meteorological winter season, has triggered robust cold outbreaks that are unprecedented for early December. The vortex split has created an open channel for Arctic air to flow directly from Canada into the United States, establishing what meteorologists call a polar express weather pattern. The impacts of this disruption cannot be overstated. Temperature anomalies across southern Canada and the northern United States are running 16 to 20 degrees Celsius below normal. In Calgary, Canada, residents experienced a shocking temperature plunge of more than 30 degrees Celsius within just 24 hours, dropping from a mild 5 degrees to a bone-chilling minus 25 degrees. This is not just cold weather. This is potentially dangerous, life-threatening cold that demands respect and preparation. The meteorological setup involves a massive blocking high-pressure system locked over the western United States and Alaska, while a deep atmospheric trough penetrates far south over Canada and the eastern two-thirds of the United States. This configuration is highly stable, and forecasters see no significant changes through mid-December and possibly beyond. The pattern creates consecutive Arctic cold waves moving from northwest to southeast across North America, with each wave reinforcing the frigid conditions. Catastrophic atmospheric river impacts Pacific Northwest. While the interior of North America battles extreme cold, the Pacific Northwest faces an entirely different but equally dangerous threat. A powerful atmospheric river, rated as a level 4 out of 5 on the intensity scale, has been pummeling Washington, Oregon, and parts of Idaho and Montana since Monday, December 8. This is an unusually long atmospheric river, stretching over 3,500 miles westward into the Pacific Ocean, creating what meteorologists have described as the Mississippi River in the sky. The rainfall totals are staggering and historic. Many areas in the Cascades, Olympics, and coastal ranges have already received 4 to 7 inches of rain from the initial atmospheric river pulse. A second, even stronger pulse arrived late on December 9th, and is forecast to persist through Thursday, December 11th. Widespread additional rainfall of 3 to 6 inches is expected in the lowlands, with higher elevations potentially seeing an additional foot of rain. Some locations may receive total rainfall amounts approaching 15 to 18 inches over the multi-day event. Portland International Airport has already exceeded 2 inches of rain in just 24 hours. When calculated across the entire Portland metro area of over 6,600 square miles, this translates to more than 232 billion gallons of water in a single day. The sheer volume is overwhelming drainage systems, rivers, and soil capacity. The flooding situation is critical. The Grays River in southwest Washington reached major flood stage Monday night, threatening homes and buildings in the small community of Rossburg. Multiple rivers including the Chehalis, Snoqualmie, Skagit, and Willamette are experiencing rapid rises, with several gauges forecast to reach major flood stage. At least 2 river gauges have already exceeded major flood stage. 5 are at moderate flood stage, 8 at minor flood stage, and 26 are at action or bankful stages across Washington and Oregon. Schools have closed across the Coast Range and Cascades, with Seaside and Toledo school districts completely shutting down. Highway conditions are treacherous, with standing water creating dangerous situations. In Nehalem, Oregon, a truck actually floated and drifted in floodwaters before sinking, though the driver escaped safely. Power outages have affected thousands, with Portland General Electric reporting impacts to over 3,000 customers initially. Beyond the immediate flooding danger, the atmospheric river creates additional hazards including landslides and areas of steep terrain. debris flows in recently burned wildfire areas, and coastal flooding. The saturated soils mean that even moderate additional rainfall produces immediate runoff and rising waters. Portland officials have issued warnings about combined sewer overflows into the Willamette River, urging people to avoid contact with the river during and for 48 hours after the overflow stops. The wind component of this system is also significant, with south winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour and gusts potentially reaching 40 miles per hour. These winds threaten to scatter unsecured objects, bring down tree limbs, and disrupt power lines, compounding the already serious situation. Winter storm alerts across 9 states. While the Pacific Northwest battles flooding, a completely different winter threat is unfolding across the interior. Winter storm warnings and advisories have been issued across 9 states, with up to 14 inches of snow expected between Monday, December 8th, and Wednesday, December 10th. The most affected areas include Wyoming, Montana, Virginia, Alaska, Michigan, Tennessee, Kentucky, Washington State's interior, North Carolina, and Illinois. The National Weather Service has warned residents to plan on slippery road conditions, especially during morning and evening commutes. The snow is coming in waves as fast-moving clipper systems race across the Canadian Rockies and dive into the Northern Plains and Great Lakes region. These Alberta clipper systems are characterized by quick intensification, producing expanding areas of very strong and gusty winds to accompany the snowfall. West Virginia faces particularly severe conditions, with a blizzard alert issued for Wednesday and Thursday. Heavy snowfall is expected to dump up to a foot of snow in some areas, with visibility falling to just a quarter of a mile, creating whiteout conditions that make travel extremely hazardous or impossible. In Lynchburg, Virginia, the heavy snow forced the closure of all municipal offices on Monday, requiring an extension of the personal property tax payment deadline. Lake effect snow machine activates. The extreme cold air flowing across the relatively warm Great Lakes has activated the lake effect snow machine with remarkable intensity. The temperature contrast between the frigid Arctic air and the still unfrozen lake waters creates the perfect conditions for heavy, localized snow bands. These narrow but intense bands can produce 2 to 3 inches of snow per hour, resulting in dramatic snowfall totals that can vary wildly over short distances. Up to 8 inches of lake effect snow was forecast from Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning, particularly affecting areas near the Mackinac and Chippewa County borders in Michigan. The northern shores of the Great Lakes and areas directly downwind are experiencing persistent snowfall as long as the wind continues to blow across the open water. This includes major population centers around Lakes Erie, Ontario, Michigan, Huron, and Superior. The lake effect is particularly intense in the Tug Hill Plateau region of New York, which is one of the snowiest locations in the entire United States. Communities from the eastern suburbs of Cleveland through Erie, Pennsylvania to Buffalo, New York, are in the bullseye for significant accumulations. From Friday through Sunday of last week, snowfall reports across this region ranged from 12 to 24 inches, with some locations exceeding 3 feet. Erie, Pennsylvania, recorded a maximum 24-hour snowfall total of over 22 inches on Friday alone. The lake effect snow is expected to continue impacting communities in Ohio, Michigan, and New York through the weekend as the Arctic air mass remains locked in place. With winds maintaining a favorable direction and the lakes remaining unfrozen, the snow bands will persist, creating hazardous driving conditions on major highways including Interstate 90 and Interstate 86. Numerous road closures have already occurred, and travel restrictions remain in effect across portions of northwestern Pennsylvania and southwestern New York. Alaska faces multiple winter threats. Alaska is experiencing its own set of winter challenges, with multiple advisories and warnings in effect across different regions. Winter weather advisories cover areas from the Kuskokwim Delta to the Pribilof Islands, with mixed precipitation, blowing snow, and reduced visibility creating dangerous conditions. The Kuskokwim Delta is dealing with additional snow accumulations of 1 to 2 inches along the coast, ice accumulations, and winds gusting to 35 miles per hour, with coastal areas seeing gusts of 45 to 50 miles per hour. Visibility has been reduced to half a mile at times along the coast due to blowing snow. The Pribilof Islands face similar conditions with snow accumulations of 1 to 2 inches, and winds gusting as high as 60 miles per hour, potentially reducing visibility to a quarter mile. Interior Alaska locations are experiencing some of the coldest temperatures, with certain areas seeing readings well below 0 Fahrenheit. The city of Hyder could receive up to 7 inches of snow with reduced visibility, making travel very difficult. Hoona and Tenakee Springs face up to 5 inches by midnight, while Petersburg and Wrangell boroughs could see up to 6 inches by Monday night. 3-day forecast. Continue dangerous conditions. Wednesday, December 11, 2025. The atmospheric river will begin to shift northward away from Oregon and Washington, providing some relief to the Pacific Northwest, though flood warnings will remain in effect as rivers continue to crest. The wettest conditions will focus on northern Washington, northern Idaho, and far western Montana, with an additional 4 to 6 inches of rain expected in the Olympics and west-facing foothills of the Washington Cascades. Across the central and eastern United States, the Arctic air mass will continue its aggressive push southward. A strong clipper system will move from the Great Lakes into the northeast, bringing heavy snow to interior areas and a changeover from rain to snow across the Ohio Valley and northern mid-Atlantic. High temperatures will struggle to reach the teens across the northern plains and upper Midwest, with wind chills making it feel even colder. The extreme cold will begin reaching the mid-Atlantic and northeast by evening. Thursday, December 12, 2025. The atmospheric river's influence will finally begin to wane. Across the Pacific Northwest, though the threat of river flooding and landslides will persist for several days as rivers slowly recede and saturated soils remain vulnerable. Rainfall totals by this point could reach 15 to 18 inches in the highest elevations. The coldest air mass of the season will be firmly entrenched across the eastern two-thirds of the United States. Morning low temperatures across the northern plains and upper Midwest could challenge records, with readings in the -teens to -20s Fahrenheit in some locations. High temperatures across the Great Lakes and Northeast will only reach the teens and low 20s. Lake effect snow will intensify downwind of all the Great Lakes as the northwesterly flow continues, with the potential for several feet of additional accumulation in the hardest-hit snow belts. Friday, December 13, 2025. The brutal cold will reach its maximum extent, covering much of the eastern United States from the Canadian border to the Gulf Coast states. Even areas of the southeast and Texas that rarely see truly cold weather will experience below freezing temperatures. Freeze warnings will be necessary for south-central Texas, where temperatures could drop to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, threatening crops and sensitive vegetation. The atmospheric river threat in the Pacific Northwest will finally diminish significantly, allowing for drier conditions and the beginning of recovery operations. However, the damage assessment will reveal extensive flooding impacts, with major agricultural losses, infrastructure damage, and ongoing concerns about landslide-prone areas. Lake-effect snow will continue east of the Great Lakes, adding to already impressive seasonal totals. Looking ahead, extended cold pattern. The concerning news for those hoping for relief is that this weather pattern shows remarkable persistence. The blocking high pressure over the west and the deep trough over the east is forecast to remain locked in place through mid-December and possibly beyond. This means the Arctic cold outbreaks will continue, with each successive wave potentially bringing temperatures that challenge or break records. Long-range forecasts suggest potentially hazardous cold for portions of the northern plains and upper Midwest, extending through the weekend of December 13th and 14th. The coldest days for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are expected this coming weekend, with cities like New York experiencing highs only in the low 30s Fahrenheit. The extended pattern raises concerns about natural gas demand, heating costs, burst pipes in homes and businesses, and the welfare of vulnerable populations. The combination of the polar vortex disruption and a weak La Niña event in the Pacific creates reinforcing factors that support this cold pattern. Meteorologists note that when stratospheric warming events occur early in the winter season, as this one has, the cold weather response over North America tends to be particularly strong and long-lasting. Critical safety information and preparations with such extreme and diverse weather conditions affecting different regions. Safety must be the top priority for all residents. For those in flood zones, never attempt to drive through standing water. As little as 6 inches of moving water can sweep a vehicle away. If you encounter flooded roads, turn around and find an alternate route. Stay away from riverbanks and areas prone to landslides. Have an evacuation plan ready if you live in a flood-prone area. Monitor local emergency management alerts and be prepared to move to higher ground immediately if ordered to evacuate. For those facing extreme cold, frostbite can occur on exposed skin in just minutes when temperatures are this low, especially with wind chill. Dress in layers with warm, dry clothing. Cover all exposed skin when going outside. Bring pets indoors and ensure outdoor animals have adequate shelter. Let faucets drip to prevent pipes from freezing. Know the signs of hypothermia: shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, and slurred speech. If someone shows these symptoms, get them warm immediately and seek medical help. For those in heavy snow areas, avoid all unnecessary travel when winter storm warnings are in effect. If you must travel, keep a winter emergency kit in your vehicle including blankets, flashlight, batteries, non-perishable food, water, first aid supplies, and a portable phone charger. Make sure someone knows your route and expected arrival time. Clear snow from vehicle exhaust pipes before running the engine to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. General preparedness. Have multiple ways to receive emergency alerts. Keep cell phones charged and have backup power sources available. Stock up on necessary medications, food, and water for at least 3 days. Check on elderly neighbors and vulnerable community members. Have flashlights and batteries ready in case of power outages. Know where to go for warming or cooling centers if your home loses power. Conclusion. December 10, 2025, marks a significant moment in this winter season's weather story. The convergence of a disrupted polar vortex, a powerful atmospheric river, winter storms, and lake-effect snow creates one of the most complex and dangerous weather patterns North America has experienced in years. From devastating floods in the Pacific Northwest to life-threatening cold across the interior and heavy snow in multiple regions, this is a multifaceted disaster affecting tens of millions of people. The persistence of these patterns through at least mid-December means communities must remain vigilant, prepared, and weather-aware. This is not a one-day event that will quickly pass. It is an evolving situation that will continue to impact travel, commerce, agriculture, infrastructure, and daily life across vast portions of the continent. Stay tuned to SkyAlert USA for continued updates as these weather systems evolve. Monitor local National Weather Service offices for the most up-to-date warnings and advisories specific to your area. Remember that weather can be deadly when severe. Take all warnings seriously and make safety your absolute priority. Together, we will weather this storm and emerge stronger on the other side. This has been your comprehensive weather briefing for December 10, 2025. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay weather ready, America and Canada. Total word count, 1,850 plus words. For the latest weather updates, warnings, and forecasts, continue following SkyAlert USA, your trusted source for critical weather information.